Well, the starting point for writing Tetralogue was an experience that I think most people have from time to time, which is being involved in some kind of argument that gets stuck, that's deadlocked, where each side is convinced that it's right, but neither side can convince the other. And I mean, these could be arguments between individuals, but in a way they're often arguments between cultures. They could be about morality or politics or religion or science or anything, but they all have this structure. And the kind of deadlock that these arguments, disagreements reach, makes a lot of people start wondering whether really one side is right and the other is wrong, or perhaps somehow each side is right from its own point of view, and that's all there is to say about it. There's no right answer that goes beyond the disagreement and difference of point of view itself. I mean, that's an issue that philosophers have discussed quite a lot in various ways, but most of those discussions have been quite sort of dry and technical and not very accessible to people who haven't studied philosophy. Although I do think that they have something to contribute in the way of enabling people to think further about these issues, about what it means when you get these disagreements that can't be resolved. And so I thought it would be nice to write a book that was much more accessible in these academic discussions to non-philosophers, but which gave them some kind of help in thinking through these issues. Issues which you could call issues about the nature of truth and falsity, although you don't have to put it as pretentiously as that. And so, for example, philosophical discussion can often help people to see that in discussing these issues that they're making various assumptions, and then when they've seen what the assumptions are that they're making, they might want to question them. That's the kind of thing that philosophy can do. But because these are issues that arise for everyone, it shouldn't just confine itself to a conversation amongst academic philosophers. You know, if you read something about philosophy that's a bit more like a textbook, where there's just one author who's telling you what the truth is supposed to be, and no appeal is possible from that author's judgment, then that gives a very misleading picture of what philosophy is like. So if by writing in dialogue form, that conveys a much better sense of what it's actually like to be engaged with philosophical questions. And of course, I mean, the dialogue form, I mean, goes back to the very early days of philosophy. I mean, Plato in ancient Greece wrote in dialogues, and that was partly because he liked the idea that in a dialogue you can always question what the other person is saying, and so it's much closer to a living conversation than a text where you've only got one point of view being presented. And since philosophy always involves comparing different points of view and seeing what their strengths and weaknesses are, it's a kind of more direct presentation of it, to have individuals who are representing these points of view. And so you can even get some sense of how there's some sort of correspondence between points of view, and you might even say different personality types. And then there's a particular reason in the case of Tetralogue for writing it in dialogue form, which is that it's about the kind of deadlocks that arguments can reach. And so if you have a dialogue, you can actually have a specimen of this kind of deadlock there in front of you on the page, and so you can, as it were, get up close and personal with it and look in detail to see how the argument gets deadlocked, and what that looks like, and what kind of moves the different sides are making in that sort of situation. And then it's called Tetralogue because it's a dialogue between four people, and so that means there's quite a variety of different points of view that are being presented, and readers, they can, as it were, try them all on for size to see which fits.